But all right, moving on with the show here. Kentucky met with the media here first time in several weeks. They announced their spring camp is going to start next week. We also got Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher. He is meeting with the media, I believe, on Thursday. So the Aggies are going to get kicked off here right around the corner. Spring football popping up all over the SEC. That's what we love to see because we need the content right now more than ever. And, of course, the big topic now in Kentucky, what's this going to look like with the new offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, jumping back to the NFL, going to reunite with Sean McVay and the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. Interestingly, I shared on here that Liam Cohen helped Mark Stoops in this interview process to land a new offensive coordinator. According to Coach Stoops, Will Levis also played a hand in interviewing these coaches and trying to fit the right fit for the program to make sure that you're not going to have continuity with the same offensive coordinator, but they wanted a similar theme coming from the coaching tree of Sean McVay and the Shanahan family. That's something we'll talk about here with Jason Hirschhorn in just a moment. But let's kick it over to Mark Stoops first on staying with the same offensive branch, so to speak, of the McVay-Shanahan system in Scangarello, the offensive coordinator. And don't forget the offensive line coach, Zach Yenser. He's a Kentucky native, but he also comes from the San Francisco 49ers. So he was an assistant offensive line coach last season with the Niners, one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. Now you're getting the offensive line coach and your offensive coordinator. Both come from the same system, which should help a ton when you're breaking in those two positions specifically. They know each other, they get along, and they go hand in hand with this new Kentucky offense. So let's kick it over to Coach Stoops talking about these hires and not wanting to get too far from what they've already established there in Lexington.
Mark, how important was it to kind of, when you're going out and looking for a new coach, to stay kind of in that Shanahan, I guess, McVay coaching tree?
It was very important. When Liam was here and we lost our own line coach, the first book we open was the 49ers. That's the first place we go. And first place Liam went, and that's, he brought up Zach, and then we did the research on Zach, and it was kind of a no-brainer to hire him as well. And then when I come to find out that Rich had interest in this job, it really happened fast. Again, you're under some pressure just because of timing. I didn't feel, we had a good idea this could happen, and so we were keeping things fluid. I was keeping guys in mind, and it was remarkable the amount of candidates and the amount of people and the quality people that were interested in this job. Again, it says a lot about our coaches and our team and the way they do things to attract the people that we did. And but being so late, you do feel a little crunch, a little pressure to get things done, and so I had a very good process of some very talented coaches, and although it's kind of time consuming and strenuous to go through, it's still eye-opening at times and very good to go through that process and just listen to the talented people and ideas and different things. And once again, when Rich and I connected, things moved pretty fast after that.
Mark, were you surprised that Rich wanted the job? Was that kind of?
I was pleased. I was excited. It's funny, Liam. You guys heard that, but Liam helped me through the process too. It's really a unique situation. Most of the time, if in our world, you get a job, you're here today, gone tomorrow. And with Liam, with the way he was hired after the Super Bowl, he already knew Coach McVay. You know what I mean? So it was an easy transition. I'm sure Coach wanted to take a minute. You know what I mean? So Liam has had some time. It's kind of unique, but he's so he's helped me through the process. And just because I'm very confident in him. We have a good relationship, and he like I just wanted his input. You know what I mean? I wanted somebody that was speaking the same language, and when I talked to him about Rich, we were both like very excited. Talking on the phone late one evening.
What are some of the benefits to having Rich and Yenser, who worked together last year, come to Lexington?
I think that's very important. I don't know if it would have been a deal breaker. I mean, you're going to talk to Rich, and I'm pretty open about that. Guys can say what they want, you know what I mean? But I'm sure it was probably more attractive to him knowing that he had Zach here, because it's super important to have your offensive line coach and your offense coordinator on the same page. I mean, that's a whole major piece of this offense, that he knows Zach's going to speak the same language and teach it the way he wants to be. I think that's the big thing with us now, is taking it to another level, being precise, being detailed, and that's how you'll take it to another level and improve.
So after hearing these concerns, I got to be honest, I was ready to downgrade Kentucky a little bit here, losing Liam Cohen this offseason, especially with spring football obviously right around the corner. We're going to get it kicked off next week in Lexington. How are you going to bring in a new offensive coordinator, a new offensive line coach that are basically going to be sticking with the same thing, particularly when you're looking across the NFL to hire these people? But hey, credit Mark Stoops and company for getting that done. I don't know that they could have done much better given the fact that the timeline for this decision. And according to Mark Stoops, I mean, they were just waiting out the LA Rams. Lots of jobs passed up by Liam Cohen this offseason. Kind of the highlight from Mark Stoops' press appearance here this week, telling the behind the scenes of Liam Cohen deciding to take this job, and basically Will Levis and Mark Stoops just holding their breath, waiting for the Rams to hire an offensive coordinator, until unfortunately that call came through and it was for Liam Cohen. Good for him, but not obviously necessarily great for the Kentucky Wildcats.
Coach, I know you mentioned you're looking forward, but that moment when Liam did leave, how tough was that? Just not only for you, but for Will and for C-Rod.
It was hard. Yeah, it definitely was. I guess I could tell the story how it went, and Will will attest to this. Will and I were in the weight room. I certainly wasn't working out, obviously, but we're in the weight room, and I'm walking through, just talking to guys, and connecting with our players, and just checking things out. And Will approached me, and he was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Listen, Will," I'm like, the guy's been unbelievably loyal to us. He's turned down NFL opportunities, has turned down college opportunities, didn't blink an eye. Tough decisions, but he showed extreme loyalty because of the situation. And he knew a year ago when I talked to him, I'm like, I need 2 years, minimum. And, sometimes you don't always get that. And I was talking to Will, literally talking to Will. And I said, he's shown extreme loyalty. He's here. I said, we do have to worry about LA. You know what I mean? They just got done with the Super Bowl. I was there. And this was maybe Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember exactly what day it was. After the Super Bowl. Couldn't have been Monday. I traveled home on Monday. So maybe Tuesday morning. And, I'm talking to Will. I'm saying, we just got to ride out, LA. I don't know. You know what I mean? Surely this guy just went through an unbelievably long season, and I don't know what they're going to do. I said, so we'll see. As we were talking, I'm not shitting you. He calls me. And I show Will. He just, you gotta be kidding me. So we were just talking about that, and Liam really had no idea. I think he got a call late the night before, and so he just found out, I want to say midnight the night before, and that it was even a possibility. You know what I mean? And so I'm not sure it was a done deal at that point in time, but I know when I got the call from Sean that he was interested in talking to Liam, that I was disappointed, obviously, because we knew we had a great one. And, but, I'm really happy for him, and I'm really happy the way things worked out. Things happen for a reason, and we'll be fine no matter what. I mean, it's this culture, it's this organization, there's a lot of things. I mean, you look at some pretty successful team, one team in particular in this league, and probably put Georgia in that along with Alabama. They get a turnover all the time, and they continue to win. I mean, that says a lot for their program, and I wanted to do it that way, where I continued the system. That makes it easier.
And then when Stoops was done talking, the new offensive coordinator, Rich Scangarello, again, I think I nailed it there. He met with the media. Why did he want to make this jump to the college game. That's something that he's been a college coach before. He knows recruiting. He's been an offensive coordinator at this level. He's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL, spent a number of years in the NFL. Usually you see it the reverse. College coaches desperate to become NFL coaches. Now we got, again, second year in a row, Mark Stoops reaches into the NFL ranks to get himself an offensive coordinator that knows this McVay-Shanahan system that is not being run anywhere else in the SEC right now. So what made Rich want to make his jump? Here's his answer.
Why come back to college? SEC?
For me personally, the timing was perfect. I excited to be in charge of the offense again, and felt like it was just time to go coordinate and do it. And it just happened to be the right head coach and the right situation that fit perfectly for where I was at my point in my career, and excited to be here because of it.
We got more earlier. When you make that decision, I guess, what are you looking at? Like, was it just Kentucky, or was it this situation, or were you kind of looking at other places? Or?
No, I was not looking at other places. Quite honestly, this was the only college opportunity I even considered. I think that I just aligned with where Coach Stoops is for what he's looking for out of his offense, what he believes at the core, and what I had heard, the kind of man he was to work for, the situation. And I don't know that I jumped in immediately to the opportunity. I wanted to make sure it was right for me, and I explored it and watched plenty of their tape, and it just it seemed like a very good fit, and I think that made the transition easy for me.
Another comment that really caught my eye during his media availability was the fact that he said he was watching Kentucky this fall, and this quarterback really caught his eye. Of course, Will Levis, who is hoping to make that jump to the NFL next offseason. And to get there, he's going to need the help of his new offensive coordinator. Based on what Kentucky's new offensive coordinator had to say about Levis catching his eye early before this job ever became on his radar, certainly sounds like Will Levis, the continued progression of his game, is going to go higher and higher with Scangarello here calling the plays in Lexington next season.
How big was that to have a guy, Will, that's kind of proven, and what do you see on tape specifically with him, and what kind of excites you to get the chance to work with him?
It's random, but I want to say it was the LSU game last year, but there was a game where we were sitting watching, having a Saturday night dinner in the NFL before our team meetings, and Kentucky was on, and I was like, man, I just, quarterbacks catch my eye. It's kind of what I do, I would think, and I was like, man, this guy's pretty good, and it just something that I remembered. And then when this all happened pretty fast, and I went back and I watched Kentucky's tape, I was like, the qualities that I would look for in a quarterback, he possesses a lot of them. And I think that's it's fun to work with guys like that and help them, just kind of bring out their best game. And that's my goal.
What are those qualities? Is it arm strength? Is it size? Is it pocket mobility?
I would say this, like, it's the toughest to me. Well, let's say the NFL, to play quarterback at the highest level, to me, is the toughest thing in sports to do. And that requires toughness. It requires an intellect, football intellect, processing ability, and then the physical ability to pull it off. And that can look a lot of different ways. Some guys are, it could be Drew Brees and Mahomes and everything in between, Josh Allen, how you play. Those are the kind of the top guys. And so the ability to be an athlete, to be an above the line thrower that has more in you, and that toughness and smarts, those are the kinds of things that I would always look to work with.
Now moving on to the new offensive line coach, Zach Yenser. Again, also comes to Kentucky from the San Francisco 49ers, a Kentucky native. But how about this? This is how small of a world it is. He GA'd under John Schlerman once upon a time. So he knows all about Coach Schlerman and, just how much reverence they have for him. They're in Lexington, of course. If you don't, all Kentucky fans know this, but maybe some other SEC fans don't. Tragically passed away a little over, it was during the 2020 season. They honor Coach Schlerman there in Lexington, the Big Blue Wall. It just means a lot to them down there. And, of course, the foundation of that program is the offensive line. So here's Coach Yenser on wanting to honor Coach Schlerman. I just thought this was really cool. Gave him a shout out here, and on the proud tradition, he understands fully what he's walking into in being the offensive line coach in Lexington.
Yes, sir. So I got done playing at Troy in 2006. I actually played for Neil Brown was on staff. Tony Franklin was the offense coordinator. Neil was the inside receivers coach. And then when I got done playing in 2006, our line coach left for Texas Tech, and Coach Franklin hired John Schlarman as the offense line coach. And I came back to be his graduate assistant when I got done playing at Troy. So that was my first connection with Schlar in 2007. That 1 year before I left and took a Division II job.
Mark, Stoops was saying that he sees some similarities. How do you think, how did John impact you?
Yeah.
How do you think you sort of carry on kind of his?
No doubt. Schlar he was such an impactful person for me as a young football coach, just seeing how he treated the players. And it was really cool to see it as a young guy, because you heard stories about, coaching football where you couldn't be a good football coach and like a good father, a good husband. Like you couldn't, just the time, and watching him as a young guy do it, and how he treated his players and how he treated his family. And he was a daggone good football coach. So everybody was a little different. Like he treated everybody a little different. He kind of knew how each person ticked. He would get up close to some guys, or he would, he knew who he could talk to in front of the room, and just taking all that in as a young football coach has been very impactful for me.
Coach
You're from Catchballs here in town. Are you going to wrap your head around the whole fact that you started with Schlarman and now you're here?
I can tell you right now, it's very surreal. Like, it's just really surreal to think about it, because it's just keeping up with Schlar throughout, once I started with him, and then as we kind of grew, he stayed at Troy. I went on to a Division II school, and then ended up going in GA and at La Tech and stuff like that for Coach Franklin again, but just always staying in touch because of the impact that he had on me. And then seeing what he did here starting in 2016, and where the pinnacle of it, when they win in 10 games and everything like that. And then honestly, like now, taking over that room, I'm starting to understand. I mean, I really haven't like you said, I really have not wrapped my brain around it. Like, it's still surreal to me. It's an absolute privilege to do it. And like I've told you guys before, like, I'm not taking it lightly at all, but it's very surreal how just full circle it's come. Since 2007 when I started working for him.
It'd be a responsibility and an honor at the same time.
It is 100% an honor. I mean, the responsibility, because you know what you have to do as a football coach. You know your responsibility as an O-line coach, and I do believe it's the most important position on the field. But there is a little bit extra of, I want to do a good job for John. I want to do a good job for his family, and just to carry on that tradition.